Good evening, everyone. Great to have everyone here on our next Facebook Live event. I hope you're all as excited as I am to hear from some of our wonderful teachers who are going to be joining us in Arlington next year for our new campus. A couple logistical things. Our lottery has happened. If you are one of the few people who got a lucky seat at Arlington, congratulations. We're going to be reaching out to you in the coming weeks to have an individual touch point with you. I'd love to have a brief conversation, John, just to hear about what you're excited for at our new campus. But if you've yet to receive an offer, we're sending out offers as they come in, as our lottery has finalized. Get those registrations in. And I hope that maybe some of you who have yet to apply, seeing some of our teachers in this context can get you excited about the good work that we're going to be doing. As before, if you have any pressing questions, we are going to do our best to field some of those trending questions at the end of our time this evening. So if you have questions, put them into the chat. We have a team of people monitoring the chat so that after introducing you to some of our faculty members, we'll have some question and answer time. But let's get into it. So I'm so excited for this opportunity. If you've joined our Facebook Live in the past for Arlington, you've heard me be able to share my mission and vision for our newest campus and the good work that we're going to be doing. But I want some of our faculty members to speak into your lives this evening about their excitement for a brand new school and sharing with you their experiences with Great Hearts. The small cohort that will be joining us this evening are faculty members for Great Hearts Arlington. So these are going to be the people who will be working with your children. These individuals you'll meet tonight are part of our seeding faculty. So these are individuals who are coming from other current Great Hearts campuses. They are going to be invaluable in the creation of an intentional culture at our newest campus. We, as an organization, strive to partner with sincere men and women who are deeply committed to joining the great conversation with your sons and daughters, and who understand that the act of teaching, that it is nothing short of shaping souls. These individuals are intellectually and morally and aesthetically alive. They have rich intellectual lives and a deep sense of wonder, who approach the craft of teaching with great humility, who are willing and eager to grow in their pedagogy, in their instructional practices. We hire teachers and faculty members who have a clear vision about the purpose of liberal arts education, the understanding of the noble capacities of human nature, of who we are as human beings in relation to this existence. Education is not just about getting into good colleges or earning a living. They have a balanced life of leisure where the enjoyment of good books and music and art play a role alongside other pursuits. They have an attractive, inviting, encouraging, caring personality. And they love working with young people. They want to be an intellectual and an ethical role model for their students. And they profess that their life and their career are about serving others and holding themselves to a high standard. It's so important that we find the right people to do this good work. It's probably the most important thing. I might profess that the faculty are the most important facet of our educational system. Not sports, not extracurriculars, not even academics. Those are extraordinarily good and highly important. But if we don't have the right faculty, we are building into, developing, and living well together, how can we hope to achieve our other pursuits? If we hope to instill in your children, in my children, an aspiration to seek after objective truth, to live virtuous lives and do good and seek after beauty, then we must have a faculty who is doing that themselves and showing them how. So it is with great honor that I introduce you to a few of our faculty members. So first up, I am going to introduce Mrs. Charlotte Garthune. Mrs. Garthune is joining us from our Irving campus, and you might have even had a conversation with her or received emails from her during this last time period during registration. She is our Director of Campus Operations. So anything operation-wise, logistic-wise, she is our point person. She is so hardworking. She's a self-starter. I'm so happy to have her on our team as we are building the campus. If you've had the opportunity to see the campus, she is invaluable in that process, making sure everything is built right and we order everything well. But I don't want to speak for her, so I'm going to allow Mrs. Garthune to share a little bit.
Thank you, Mr. Dunick. Such kind words. Hello, everyone. I started with Great Hearts in 2019 as a third grade teacher. And what that year in the classroom really taught me is the value of what we're doing here. It's so much different than the public school system. It's even different than the private school system. It's something unique that Great Hearts has developed. And what I decided in that year was that I wanted to stay with Great Hearts, but that I also wanted my daughter to be a Great Hearts student. And that has been a primary motivation for me this year, especially coming to help launch Great Hearts Arlington. I'm so proud that my daughter gets to be part of the founding class of students. I'm just honored to be part of the team. So this year, you can come to me for anything to do with registration and enrollment, anything to do with your child's mealtime account, making sure they're getting meals at lunchtime, anything to do with uniform questions, anything like that. I oversee a variety of departments within the operations world. Just please know you can come to me for anything and I will do my best to find an answer for you. We are so excited to see the campus coming to life. I'm so excited to talk to some of you. I'm sure I've spoken with some of you on the phone. You've definitely gotten emails from me, and I really look forward to meeting you in person. Thank you, Mr. Dunick.
Thank you, Mrs. Garthune. I'm so excited for our work together. I've been so impressed as we've kind of, Mrs. Garthune and I, and our initial operations team has started to do this work. If you'll notice, I'm no longer at the Lakeside campus. We're in our own temporary office, and so excited to be building our team and looking to the future, you know, the campus being built up. So I look forward to our great work together. The next faculty member that I would like to introduce is Mrs. Hallie Stowe. So Mrs. Stowe is actually coming from our Lakeside campus. She is an amazingly wonderful, creative, engaging teacher in the second grade with the students that she works with. And I've seen her flourish. She's been very important in the founding of Lakeside. Lakeside just opened this last fall. So a very exciting and challenging time during the midst of a pandemic. And I know that they haven't been without their challenges, and she's just such a positive member on their team. And we look forward to her using those skills that she's developed at starting a new school in Fort Worth to do something very similar with the community in Arlington. So I'll let her share a little bit.
Thank you, Mr. Dunick. So I will be teaching second grade at Great Hearts Arlington, and I am so excited about it. I live like 10 minutes down the street from where they're building it, and I'll just go drive by. It's been so fun to see how quickly they're putting it up. Like Mr. Dunick said, I have been at the Lakeside campus this past year, and that was its first year, and it has been challenging, but it has been so rewarding getting to get through that, just everybody as a team. And just now we're halfway through the year and I can't believe it. It's been so fun, and it's been just a joy to see the school grow and our students grow. A little bit about me personally. I graduated from Hardin-Simmons University in Abilene, Texas, with a degree in graphic design. I'll be receiving my state certification in May from I Teach Texas. And college is really where I first was exposed to liberal arts education. And just from there, I knew that it was something that I wanted to be a part of my life. I knew that it was something that I wanted to share with others. And just the joy and the importance of it in my life has been so prominent, and getting to share that with second graders. Like, you wonder, what are they capable of? They are capable of so much more than anyone thinks. And it has just been so fun getting to see them kind of blossom in that environment. One of my very favorite things about the classical education model that I think Great Hearts does so well is the Socratic method for the way that we teach and the way that we question our students. So with that method, it's instead of just giving students information and giving students the answers, we ask them questions. We ask them why. Like, why do you feel that way? What makes you think that? Can you show me in the text where you got that from? And so guiding them to come to these answers on their own rather than just giving it to them. It's been amazing to see their thought process grow and change, even just August to December. And so I'm super excited about getting my own classroom in the fall. I'm super excited to get to know more of our Great Hearts Arlington community, and I can't wait to meet some of you.
Thank you, Mrs. Stowe. Oh, I love those second graders. I got to teach in second grade for a number of years, and I always thought it was my favorite. Maybe it's a transitional year, second and third grade, as they're going through this initial habit formation, especially at Great Hearts. They're developing in phonics, they're becoming fluent readers and writers, and with early numeracy, and they're really starting to take hold of their own thoughts. And I love how you put it, Mrs. Stowe, this idea of pushing back to them about why it is what we're doing. That the Socratic method in question and drawing it out from them, allowing them to be active participants in their own educational journey, not this idea of disseminating information. Like, I'm the teacher and I hold all the information and you sit there and you learn it because I know what you should learn. And that's not the case. It's this educational journey that's mutually beneficial for both the teacher and the student. And this idea of we are learning and growing and challenging one another throughout the process. And during those discussions, pushing back and saying, well, why? Why is this important? Why is this good? How is this character emulating this virtue? Or why does this numerical pattern teach us more about who we are in existence of reality? And even at the 5-year-olds, even kindergartners and first graders and second graders, they are capable of thinking deeply. We of course do it in a very developmentally appropriate way, but I have seen that in progressive education models where we limit our students to what we think they are capable of, and they are capable of so much more. So Mrs. Stowe, I greatly look forward to continuing to work with you. Next, I would like to introduce Coach Hess. Mr. Ryan Hess is coming to us from our Irving campus as well as a physical education teacher. And I have been so thrilled in conversations with him around what does it mean to teach physical education in a liberal arts way, in a liberatus, a freeing way, and not just thinking about, oh, it's just another extra thing that we tack on, or it's just PE or art or music or foreign language. Like, no, those content areas, those learning avenues are morally forming who we are as human beings, and with using our body in true, good, and beautiful ways. I've been so impressed with his ideas and even challenged about how can we continue to do this academic area very well in a well-rounded sort of, yes, it's an important content area where we learn about gross motor skills and teamwork, but who we are as human beings, our body is our one body that's been given to us for this life. How can we use it well, and kind of doing it in a more forming way? So I'll let him share a little bit about himself, and maybe he'll get into that a little bit too. But I've loved having those conversations with you, Coach Hess, and I look forward to more.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Dunnick. Yeah, it's certainly true that whenever we're talking about classical education, we talk about leading students out of themselves through the mind, body, and spirit. And oftentimes the body sort of gets put on the back burner, which is okay because we're working on that here at Great Hearts Arlington. So just a little bit about myself. I'm a coach and teacher with experience in both the classroom and the gym. This coming semester will be my 4th year at Great Hearts, Texas. I started in 2018 at the Irving Lower School campus, where I took on a few roles, including I started out as an ESL teacher, and I sort of got put in kindergarten. And after that, my headmaster told me where I was interested in going next. And so in 2009, I transitioned to teaching PE, and this will be my 3rd year teaching that subject. A little bit about my background in education. I graduated from Wyoming Catholic College in Lander, Wyoming, with a degree in the liberal arts, as well as a minor in outdoor leadership, which means that I spent a lot of time in the outdoors, rock climbing, canoeing, backpacking. And I'm soon to complete my master's degree in English from the University of Dallas. My background in the liberal arts has given me both a love of classical education and a desire to pass it on to the younger generation. And the thing I appreciate about the classical model most is that it retains an understanding of the whole person. Classical teachers have the honor of not working with products or quantities. Rather, they work with whole persons. As a classical educator, we strive to lead our students out of ignorance with regards to, as I said before, the body, the mind, and the soul. This task, though it's Herculean and difficult, is continually refreshing. And that's what I appreciate most about the Great Hearts model, is that it allows you to, whenever you come to your job every day, you know that you're working with human beings, with whole persons, and not with sums, which is just hugely refreshing. I'll be serving as the 4th to 7th grade PE coach. I'm passionate about providing a PE curriculum that is both rigorous and consistent with a wider classical curriculum. And while developing this classical curriculum over these last couple of years, I've been in dialogue with a bunch of really exciting people, sort of other classical coaches, such as Ron Jones, who directed a documentary called The Motivation Factor, which I suggest everyone watch. It's a film about a famous La Sierra PE program back in the 60s. I really suggest it. So I've been in dialogue with others in other Great Hearts schools and just across the board about developing this really exciting classical PE program. Great Hearts Arlington will be a wonderful place to continue the tradition of classical physical education. And along the sides, I also, along with PE stuff, I love to read, do woodworking, and I spend a great deal of time in the outdoors. I'm really excited to be part of this new community in Arlington. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Hess. Isn't it amazing to think someone like yourself, someone so intellectually vibrant, can also help students come along in that journey in an area that maybe seems less intellectually vibrant. And I love that we can have conversations around challenging that notion, challenging the idea of the kids just go to PE to let off some steam or to let their energy out or to learn football or soccer. It's no, like PE is morally forming in who we are as human beings to move our bodies well. Like, yes, of course, learning how to be a good person in community with others and teamwork and camaraderie. But thinking about what if we put this much energy and attention into our intellectual life in every facet of who we are as human beings, that is just so exciting in that endeavor. So I feel very honored and lucky to have you as part of our founding faculty team to help brand new students who have not thought about their bodies in reality in this way, to help challenge their notion of what it means to be human. So thank you, sir. Our next faculty member that I would love to introduce is Mrs. Annette Johnson. So Mrs. Johnson is the nurse at our Great Hearts Irving campus, and she will be joining us also as our nurse at Arlington. And I have just loved hearing her heart for students, her passion behind meeting students in a proactive way in their education, which maybe other nurses would come in and say, well, I'm just a reactive person in their life. When someone gets hurt or I have to deal with an illness, well, we go to the nurse. And even in conversations with her, pushing back on the idea of this nurse is not a utilitarian or pragmatic member of a larger faculty. They are integrated into everything we do. So students are hearing from the nurse and seeing them on campus in proactive ways about how we live life well. And if we integrate all of our faculty members, whether they be apprentices or teachers or the registrar or myself. And we are all in doing this work together, helping to form our students' souls, and having people like yourself to start this conversation with 700 plus brand new students. It's very exciting. So I'd love if you shared a little bit.
Well, hello, my name's Annette Johnson, and I am going to be the school nurse, and I'm so excited about it. My main role as a school nurse is to make sure that the students are successful by keeping them healthy so they can stay in the classroom. I am a professional registered nurse, so I can bring leadership, community health, care coordination for your student, quality improvement for all of the health services at Great Hearts. My experience in schools includes my own experience as a mother of 2 children who are now adults. And my daughter actually teaches 2nd grade in the Frisco ISD. And that was when I first discovered that I wanted to be involved in a school. I went and visited her classroom, and I was really spurred watching her and seeing what an important part of her life, their lives she had become as their teacher. And I was like, I want to be involved in a school. So now I am currently involved in my 2nd year as a school nurse here at Great Hearts Irving. And I'm really looking forward to moving to the Arlington campus. I actually am a resident of Arlington as well, so that'll be another handy thing. But it'll be a fresh start in a well-designed space. I'll get to really work with the health of your students. And my favorite part of our classical education model is the focus on the positives that we provide to our scholars. We really look at the positives in our life and our world. And I love that they are learning to learn what is beautiful in life. That really just touches my heart. I'm something personal. I'm an avid fan of yoga. I practice every day, and I recently completed 3,500 classes. I started in 2009, and so I'm with Coach Hess on making sure that we are physically healthy as well.
Excellent. Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Yes, again, I'm so excited to think about even the nurse's position as not, like I said before, not a utilitarian position, not just, we need to have it for the health and safety of our students, but that every faculty member on our campus is integral, is invaluable to the education of your students. Similarly to every experience and conversation being morally forming, every faculty member that they come in contact with, every conversation and relationship they build is morally forming. So we take this very seriously with a lot of intentionality about who should we have doing this great work. And I'm so honored to have faculty members such as these. Last but not least, as far as our faculty members go, before we go into some questions, I want to introduce Ms. Nicole Rafeko. So Ms. Rafeko is our ESL coordinator who will be coming from Western Hills in San Antonio. And I have just similarly, I've seen such a passion for the work that she does, which we were just in conversation about. It's sometimes seemingly overlooked, and yet it's so important in today's society, making sure that the work that we do, which is very purposeful, is accommodated in such a way that every single student on our campus can be successful. It's not just a cookie cutter model that, okay, you're coming to Great Hearts, great, you have this one track system. No, we have coordinators and teachers in place who can support a extraordinarily diverse set of student needs, whether they be language needs or special education needs or accommodation needs. We have people in our community who are specific to those roles that help both our students and our teachers do what they need to do in the classroom. So I've loved hearing Ms. Rafeko's heart for the English as a second language program, and I'll let her share a little bit about herself.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be moving to Dallas, which is a big move, and to be joining the Arlington family. Nothing but great conversations with so many people. A little background about myself. This is my 15th year teaching. I think I lose count after a while. I spent 14 years in public school teaching first, second, third, and fourth. So I've been through the grades, and then I had this great opportunity. I'd always served ESL kids, and as I listened to other people in the school, I realized how much people just didn't know about ESL and how it was said, it's overlooked. And I had this feeling like in working with these kids, I wanted to share about the great things that we do together. Not only am I teaching them, I learn from them daily. Most of the time, they're telling me all this stuff, and it's just an amazing experience. Every day I get to work with them, and we all come from different places. And I think something that first, when I got to Great Hearts, I was like, this is such a diverse community. It's amazing. Every day, if it was a staff member or a student, I heard wonderful stories of people coming from staff members all over the world and just having these fascinating conversations. And I'm like blown away as a product of a public school. And then being in there, I'm like, this place is amazing. And I just like fell in love with it and working with everybody, and the students are amazing, and they want to be there and they want to learn. And it's nice and refreshing, not to be learning in a different way, but doing it together. I think it's fascinating. And so when I started this job, I took it all in, and I think I have the best of both worlds as being a coordinator. I still get to work with students, and I join in with them every day. I love it. But I also get to educate the staff and others around us, just how we learn together and how to bridge that gap. How much you'll learn about them and be fascinated, and how much they can teach your other kids. And I think this is also such a great year that it's brand new, and we're all coming in new. So we all have so much to offer, and it's exciting. And, it takes a little of the nervousness away of being new and kind of joining in. And I look forward to bonding with, all of the families and getting to know them, and, building this community. I think we're so lucky to be able to open this school and work with such amazing people and build this together.
Thank you, Ms. Rapeko. I hope you can see, viewers, parents, how passionate our teachers are. And this is just a very small glimpse. Like, these are wonderful faculty members, but we're going to be building an intentional community with our 70 plus founding faculty members, both from inside Great Hearts and outside Great Hearts. People coming from Arizona Great Hearts and San Antonio Great Hearts and North Texas Great Hearts, but also people, like-minded individuals within this concept of who we are as human beings. This classical education model of holistic development, and not just in the students, but in ourselves, living it out daily in collegial ways with our faculty members. Just like Ms. Rapeko said, the work that we get to do with each other is just as valuable as the work we do with our students. And again, if we're not cultivating that in ourselves as human beings, then we cannot hope to do that with our students. So just like she spoke to, a diversity in ethnicity and gender and experience and demographic and location even. We're having faculty members come from Arkansas and Alabama and New York. We have someone coming from a classical school in Alaska. So this idea that we're hoping to build something very intentional, and we don't take it lightly. We look for the best of the best who fundamentally believe in human development like we do, who will partner with us in this great work. So I really hope that you enjoyed hearing from some of our founding faculty members, and we hope to continue to share information about these faculty members and other current seating faculty members for the Arlington family, so that you can continue to get a sense of, oh, these are going to be my community. These will be my colleagues and my children's teachers. I think that's really exciting. So I'm going to transition very briefly to some questions. We've got a good amount of time here at the back end. And as much as possible, I don't want to answer the questions. There's going to be some questions that I'll answer myself, but I'd love if some of our faculty members who are on the call could also answer those questions. So let's answer a logistic one first. So we did the lottery. When am I receiving my offer if I haven't already, or if I did not apply during open enrollment time. If I just apply now, if I'm just registering now, I'd love if Mrs. Garthune could come on and kind of talk to you about that process. What if I'm already in it? Or what if I'm just hearing this Facebook Live now and I'm really interested and I want to apply? What are my next steps and what maybe is the timeline of that?
Well, families, the good news is that you still have plenty of time to apply. It's a really exciting year to join Great Hearts Arlington. It's also your best chance to be offered a seat if you apply and register this year. As our school grows, our waitlist will grow, and what that means is it'll be a little more competitive to be offered seats. So we really want to stress that y'all should apply this year. Even if you miss the lottery, we're still accepting applications on an ongoing basis. And we will continue to do that until we have filled all of our seats for kindergarten through 7th grade. So please don't feel like you missed the deadline. Again, it's very easy to submit. You can do it on your phone. It takes 3 minutes. Just go to greatheartsarlington.org and follow the links to apply. We're doing a rolling admission as the year goes on. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to our team. We're more than happy to help you with the application and make any edits or changes that you need. And yeah, we're here to help.
Thank you, Mrs. Garthune. Yeah, so we have Mrs. Garthune and we also have Mrs. Curiel, who is working as our registrar, our student information specialist. So if you have gotten an offer or an email, it might have come directly from her. So we're all here building our team in the temporary office. So we'd love to have conversations with you, whether it be about registration or it be about curriculum or student culture. So let's continue with some of the trending questions from the chat. So we had some questions about maybe non-academic time. The time that students are outside of their desks, opportunities like recess, small group instruction, interactive conversations, when they go to PE and music. The goal is to provide a rigorous, structured, holistic education in the most developmentally appropriate way. So I think it's very important for us to share that we understand that kindergartners are 5 years old. They're still students, very, very young students who are just coming into their educational experience. So although we take it very seriously and it is conversations around academia and virtue development are very important, they're also young kids. I'd love if Ms. Stowe could come on and just kind of share about the 2nd graders' schedule for the day, which would be very similar to a kindergartner or 1st grade schedule.
Absolutely. So in 2nd grade, we have 2 recess times. We have one in the morning and one in the afternoon. They have 2 specials a day. So we do it. They have art in the morning, PE in the afternoon on red days. On blue days, they'll have Spanish in the morning and music in the afternoon. That schedule just depends on your class section and how that best works. And then PE, they go outside all the time. Even music, we've been doing music outside. They've been loving that. We do every other day, we do reading groups too. And so we'll pull a small group and we'll have them read aloud to us, and we work on our reading skills. And we try to get through 2 to 3 reading groups a day. So that's another time they can get out of their seats. With our COVID restrictions, we haven't been able to do as much as we've liked to, of course, but I think that we've still been doing a really good job at providing them multiple opportunities to like get up and move throughout the day. They're not just sitting at their desks all the time. Even in the afternoons, we'll have a longer stretch where we have math and literature and it's like 2.5 hours. And some days we need to get up and stretch. So we'll get up and stretch and move around a little bit. So we try to be very mindful of their energy levels and their need to move around and kind of get that out throughout the day, because it helps them focus too when they can expel that energy and then they sit back down and they're like, okay, now we're going to do math. So just giving them that structure too, and it's very scheduled. They always know what to expect. I think they've been really receptive to it. So.
Great. Thank you, Mrs. Stowe. Yeah, I couldn't have put it better myself. This idea of, yeah, it's really structured and rigorous and fun. It's joy-filled. dance and sing and do drama, and we play and live well together. And they're kids. So taking what we do very seriously, but understanding that we do so in an intentional way for what's best for them, and being mindful for that. So I hope that answered that question. I thought you did very well with that, Mrs. Stowe. So there have also been some questions around the structure and the rigor of our curriculum, of our academics, and maybe that transition of potentially a 5th or 6th or 7th grader coming in to our program, not having a similar educational experience, maybe even with respect to this last year of schooling. And I'd love to have Mr. Faco, yes, speak about ESL, but also just with respect to accommodations. How do we continue to make sure that both our teachers and our students are prepared for the diversity in needs and academic skills and ready for that structure and rigor? So if she could share, I would love if she could come on and share about that.
Yes, I'd love to. Thank you. At the beginning of the year, of course, like I said, just educating staff on our students is very important to me. That's where I get to introduce, how we introduce each other, to our kids and back and forth and working in them with small groups. So I will have a staff that will meet with them daily, and when it's a small group instruction for a certain time each day, and build that relationship with them. And working with them, we see how we can meet their needs. And we work with the teachers and communicating, this is what we're doing, how can we help you in the classroom? And with all that communication, which is key in everything, that's where we build accommodations. I always stress, come to me, talk to me. If you don't know something, that's my biggest thing. I'm here to help. I will sit in that classroom and work with them, or model with you, or show something. So I like to build accommodations off of getting to know my students at the very beginning. And make sure that they are met throughout the year. And accommodations are something that change too. It's not like you just have these and that's it. I feel like we grow, and as we grow, some things we may know right, off the bat, we may think, and then other, there's times where we come to subjects and they get harder. And so I'm there to adjust and help and meet their needs, and feel that they can come to my staff members who really work with them, and it's hard to be open and say what you don't know, but when you build that togetherness and that love for each other, it just comes out, and they become more open. And so we work hard on just making sure that they get everything that they need, and that we're able to help them in a way that works for them. It's about differentiation. Not each kid is the same. So we really have to focus on our kids. When we're with our kids, we're with our kids, because they're going to need us in 1,000 different ways at 1,000 different times. But that's our job, and that's what makes me happy. So I hope that helps.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Faco. Yeah, I think it is daunting for parents to see our organization or what we hope to do, and it looking heavy and lofty. And I think that's a good thing. We take this very seriously, the education of the next generation of human beings who are going to make decisions and be a part of our great conversation, our Western tradition. And yet we would never say that someone is not prepared or not ready to come to our campuses. We are a tuition-free school, open enrollment. Please come to us and we will partner with you. We have ESL teams and coordinators. We have special education teams. We do speech and occupational therapy. We do everything to make sure that the greater work that we are hoping to do is accessible for everyone. The best education for anyone who wants to partner with us. So although yes, it can be a difficult transition to a new way of thought or a new way of thinking, or books that they have not been exposed to in their own education. That transition can be challenging, and it should be. It's good to be challenging. Without external stimulus, there's no growth. Without a challenge and without pushing our students that we come alongside with them in that process, then they won't grow. So yes, to answer your question, it is challenging and it's great work to do. And we provide them with all the support necessary to do so. Let me look back in the chat for some more questions. Of course, as we continue, make sure you're getting your questions in the Facebook chat so that we can continue to answer them. So opportunities for students to work with each other in mutually beneficial ways. Mrs. Stowe spoke briefly about that, but this idea of the great conversation, of pushing back that active participation on the part of the student, not someone being, well, I'm just sitting here receiving. I'm receiving from my teacher and then I will need to regurgitate it. But this idea of the teacher being the helper, the proctor, the journeyman alongside to help students avoid pitfalls and to live well, but are only there to help the student's own development. Whether it be in a seminar in a second grade about Charlotte's Web, or it be in small group math time where they're learning about fractions and using manipulatives, and being in academic situations to have those discussions and be active participants in their learning, but also in social ways where we discuss Little House in the Big Woods or Pinocchio and how to be a virtuous human being, and having real honest conversations about who we are as human beings that we share in this reality. Of course, we have our own experience of the world and our own natural inclinations, but it is founded in objective truth. And unless we draw students into that conversation, it is much more difficult for them, especially in today's society, to come to that conclusion on their own. Let's see, when will we learn more about the rest of the faculty? So what our team is doing is putting together faculty bios where we can, maybe weekly or bi-weekly, start to do an Arlington newsletter where we can share about other faculty members. If this Facebook Live was very well received, we'd love to do another round similar to this night where I can just introduce some more of the faculty members, because there'll be a lot. There'll be over 70 full-time faculty members. And I'd love to get them in front of you so you can continue to learn more about them. Our kindergarten teachers, all the way to our 7th grade teachers, our music teachers and art teachers. But the next step would be in preparing their biographies and starting to get the word out to you in newsletter form on social media, and hoping to gather together on another Facebook Live. What are the hours of the school day? So we start our academic day at 7:45 and we end our academic day at 3:30. So prior to that, starting at about 7:15, we allow students to start coming onto our campuses and they transition into their classroom where they start to unpack their things and work on bell work. And then, similar to what Mrs. Stowe shared, the academic schedule for the day with appropriate breaks and different content areas that they're allowed to access. And then finishing the day at 3:30 where we start to release students. And we do have an after school program, which is very extracurricular based. It is not just babysitting, it is support with homework. It is bringing in outside vendors to continue their educational experiences. It's very fulfilling and diverse. And we call that Athenaeum. So if you are interested in even all the way until 6 p.m., from 3:30 to 6 p.m., we run our after school program. But the normal academic day would end at 3:30 when you can start picking up your students. I wanted to also mention with the opportunity to support our students in their growth. We also provide tutoring before and after school, small group instruction with interventionists, maybe if they need additional support, but they are not 504 student or not a special education student or not in an English language learner, we have additional support on our campuses, whether it be tutoring with our teachers or specific roles for interventionists to work with our students to make sure that they are successful. Do you teach Spanish? We do teach Spanish. So at Arlington, each campus in Great Hearts has autonomy to do foreign language in different ways, or choose a different foreign language. We have consistency in how we implement. But some campuses do Latin, some campuses do Spanish. When the students get into the upper grades, some do French and some do Hebrew and Greek. But what we're going to do at Arlington is kindergarten through 5th grade is going to be Spanish, full Spanish immersion to support the variety of needs at our campus. New Spanish learners who are just learning vocabulary and starting to converse to fluent Spanish learners who start to access the language in a different way, in a more academic way, in a more professionally conversational based way, with active participation from the students in engaging important ways. And then in 6th grade, they start to transition to Latin. So 6th and 7th graders will be doing Latin as their foreign language piece. And Latin will continue through the middle school, where then we'll have an opportunity to decide about modern language or foreign language in the upper school. Yes, so a logistical question about 7th grade. So kindergarten through 6th grade is our lower school model. More or less it is self-contained, where each classroom will have a lead teacher and an apprentice teacher. And then in 7th grade, we'll only have 2 sections of 7th grade. That way we can really focus on intentionality of culture for our upper school as it starts to build out. But the students have their 55-minute periods and their content area specialists. So I have my pre-algebra teacher, I have my life science teacher, I have my Latin teacher, and then they have their bell schedule that they go through that. And that similar schedule will continue through their 12th grade year. Ooh, great question. How much time do they spend on screen time or technology during the day? So my first answer would be 0, on average 0. So in the classroom, we have document cameras and we have projectors so that teachers can make a multi-sensory use of things that are appropriate in the classroom. But we would say technology is only a tool in and of itself that students have access to outside of the classroom. They're going to learn how to type and how to put together PowerPoints and how to access different avenues of technology outside of the classroom. So we really focus on, in the classroom, being really intentional about it being a space of putting in front of the students the better. Maybe I've said before, students have a pretty good understanding between what is good and what is bad, but they don't have a good understanding between what is good and what is better. So it's our job to put in front of them the better things, whether it be works of art or literature or music, and spend intentional time during the school day focusing on active participation and conversation. And we have not found that effective with technology. So of course our distance learners have to use the computer to access Zoom and do their asynchronous and synchronous lessons. But the students who are on campus, we limit their technology use to the bare minimum. That was a fantastic question. Kindergarten is full day kindergarten. And we know that can be a rough transition. My wife taught kindergarten for a number of years. She's a fantastic human being for doing that. And some students have difficulty with the long school day, not having a break or a rest time. But we've mitigated that with frequent movement, frequent breaks and recess and snack time and time on the rug to read great literature together. And so that transition usually works itself out very quickly in maybe that first week of school. Let's do 1 or 2 more questions. Will the Arlington campus have some outdoor space? Yes, we have a great deal of outdoor space. If you've driven by our campus, kind of between where the 2 buildings merge, we'll have our playground out there. We'll have a turf, we'll have a green space, and we're hoping to over the next year develop some outside learning space as well, whether it be gardens or space to do science experiments. We have a retention pond that maybe we can make use of for science and observation and interaction. And then on the other side of the building, that will be a full field. We're hoping to seed that area or sod that area, then it'll eventually become a soccer field or a football field, and making use of that. If you've been by the campus, you'll notice it's right on Cooper. It's a busy street there. So as much as we can make use of our area there to make it some outdoor accessibility, we think that's really important for the holistic development of our students to be able to learn and grow and be outside and in nature and access the world in real meaningful ways. Let's do one more question before we finish up. So there were some questions around standardized testing, STAR test. So here's how I will answer that question. We are a public school, and we have very strict financial and accountability standards to do what we do, which we know is the right way to do this good work, this morally forming education. And we have an obligation to say, in order to be a public school, to allow any parent or student who wants to join in our community to do so free of charge, that we need to uphold the state standards. So yes, we teach the Texas education standards, we take the STAR test, but we do not, let me say this again, we do not emphasize it. The way that we develop our students in a holistic way has created in them academic growth in such a way that is a positive outcropping of the developmentally appropriate way of education that we are doing. So as a result, our students do extraordinarily well. When it comes to the time that we have to do standardized testing, they do extraordinarily well. And we do intervention and support throughout the year to make sure that we are not missing any academic gaps in our students. Because yes, we're doing this very intentional work that is morally forming, but we want to make sure that each and every one of our students is successful. And so making sure that we do that in a way that we can continue to be a public school is really important to that, for us to do that good work. So in answering your question, yeah, we do that because we're a public school, but we do not teach to the test. We do not emphasize and stress our students out about this is really important and you have to do it. Yeah, we have to do it. It's not really important. Us in community doing this great work together creates in us this academic growth that allows us to be successful. But I'd love to even have offline conversations with anyone who has concerns about that, because I know that is very overemphasized in the progressive education model. And the majority of parents that I have conversations with really dislike that. So I'd love to kind of reframe your idea of us being a public school and doing that out of necessity, but only because we want to provide this education to anyone who would join with us. So thank you so much for your time. I'm going to wrap up our conversation this evening by saying thank you to all of our wonderful faculty members that gave of their evening to be here with us and who are so excited to do this work with your children, your boys and girls this next year. And I also want to let everyone know in the Arlington community that we are going to have another in-person event on February 18th, the evening of February 18th. So we are going to put that information as far as the venue and the timing and the structure, put it together in an email for you and send it out to all of our interested families. So if you have yet to apply, apply. If you are still on the fence about doing it, just do it. It's no skin off your teeth. I'd love to talk to you more. Ensure that you have your seat so that we can do this work with you. Get your foot in the door, and then we'll have conversations around what is really important to you and what is really important to us, and be challenged in that way. But mark your calendars for February 18th. And if you want to continue to get updates from our amazing team, make sure that you go to our website and get on our interest list and apply. So thank you, everyone. We are going to finish our Facebook Live tonight. Thank you and good night.